So I just finished putting a couple bags of salt in my water softener. It's been a great investment for our home because I live in an area that has pretty hard water, but now it's time to test it and see how well it's really doing. The kit comes with 150 of these strips that you can use to be able to test your water. So I've got 50 in here, and then there's 2 additional packs of the 50 strips. It's important to keep them relatively cool and obviously dry so that they're going to last for a while, and you can do some tests on a regular basis. I'm testing a couple different places around my home. I am on municipal water or town water. I don't have a well, so I'm just curious about what the results are with this. And I know, like I said, I live in an area that has really hard water. So I'm on top of keeping the salt in my water softener a good bit, and it seems to be functioning well, but we're going to see. So when you get it back, you're going to have a scale here to be able to compare your tested strip to, and it shows the total hardness in it. I have a sample of water from my kitchen sink. So take the colored part of the strip and put it in the water for about 2 seconds. Then pull it out, shake off the excess, and then I'm just going to lay it here on a piece of paper to let it dry. And while that's happening, it's drying for 30 seconds. Let me show you some of the other details about this. Now, honestly, I'd like to be testing for fluoride and sodium and some of the other things that come in water. This is not that test. This is pretty much for hardness of water, but the fact that I can test something that I know is like the biggest aspect of my water, this is the test that I'm going with because that's the most important thing I want to know. Down the road, I might try some of those other tests too. I've got some results back here. This is the strip that came from the sink that's right next to my water softener. It's essentially the first spot that any of that water is going to hit coming out of it. So I'm comparing it to the color scale on here to be able to test to the hardness components in the water. So I have this that I'll compare, and it looks to be even just a tad bit lighter than the bottom of the scale here, which is obviously 0 for the parts per million of the elements that cause the hard water. So obviously doing pretty well. Up to my kitchen sink, it's a tad bit darker. It's a little bit in between the green and the brown, still pretty close to the green. So I think I'm doing pretty well because it's 0 parts per million to 25 parts per million. And this goes all the way up to 425 parts per million. And obviously when you're getting into like this brick red color in here, you ought to be looking at your water softener or looking to be getting one. So I don't know how well this comes up on the camera. There's a tad bit difference between the greens and these for the 2 sinks that I tried it on. So I'll keep a record of what I'm doing here, and then a month down the road, 6 months down the road, I'll do these tests again. Comes again with 150 strips, so you have plenty of these to be able to test it as you go on. You can test it towards a new water softener you have. You can test it towards putting different types of salt in it too, which I'm kind of interested in because I never really know exactly which kind of salt is best for the water softener. Well water is an excellent thing to test. If you have outside spigots, if you have a pool, any of those things, just keep trying the testing in these so you can get an accurate idea of the water hardness. It makes a big difference for your appliances. I know I had to get rid of a water heater a lot more quickly than I wanted to because I didn't yet have a water softener in the home, and that water heater felt the effects of the hard water and ended up having to be replaced way sooner than I intended. That was a big reason I ended up getting the water softener. And now I just want to test and see how well it does. And these strips have been an excellent way to be able to do that. So if you're testing out and you want to know about that aspect in your home, super easy to use, great quality. And these, they give you 150 strips. You can do a lot of tests and be keeping a close eye on something that's really important to your quality of life in your home. So these water quality strips have really been an excellent choice for me, and I would recommend.